Hey, my name is Bailey Weiser. I'm the owner of Held You Photography, a North Georgia newborn and family photography studio, and welcome to my channel. Today is part 2 of this series where we're talking about my favorite editing tools and tricks and tips that I use on just about every session so that you can reduce your editing time and get back to doing things that you love to do and get away from the back of your computer screen. So let's dive in. So the tool that we're going to talk about today is the brush tool. I use this when I'm doing fine-tune edits in Lightroom. Again, I'm going to walk you through, I use Lightroom Classic. So if you're seeing the dashboard looks a little bit differently, that is why. The brush tool has come a long way, and the few upgrades that have happened recently with Lightroom. And so at the time of this recording, the version of Lightroom that I have, there's been some new updates. I'm sure that it's going to continue to advance. And I'm noticing less and less instances where I'm needing to pull images open in Photoshop to use brushes or clone stamp or things like that because of just how advanced Lightroom has gotten with this tool. Some instances that you might need to use this tool is if you've got acne or anytime that you need to remove something and blend something. So healing spot tool, brush tool, all of those things. So we're going to talk about that today. And let's go ahead and open Lightroom and take a look. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive in. I've got Lightroom Classic open, and I've pulled up a gallery that I've already edited. I'm going to walk you through a couple of the instances that I do use the brush tool, how to use it, both indoor, outdoor sessions, just whatever kind of gallery you have. So in order to access this, you're going to go to the Develop module right here at the top. And where this little band-aid is, that's going to be where you find your brush tool. So right here is a couple different options we have. On the far left, there's a content aware remove. I feel like it does a decent job, not perfect. If I need a content aware, usually I just pull it into Photoshop. But content aware tool, there is the healing tool, and then there is a clone tool. So we're gonna walk through each of these specifically in just a minute. There's 3 different factors: the size, the feather, the opacity. Obviously, size is size, how big or how small it is. The feather is kind of the radius of it, how much of it, like how bold it is or how strong the sides are. And then the opacity, again, you guys know whether it's see-through or not. So just like when we were using the masking tool, the way to adjust this is with a 2-finger up or down on your keypad will adjust the size. You zoom in and out by pulling your fingers apart widthwise, and then the 2 fingers up and down for the size of the brush. Another way that you can adjust this is if you go to the left side of your screen and you see your navigator over here, you can kind of click specifically where on the image you want to be and then zoom in. You can tell I've already done one brush right here. This was a brand new property for them, and so they had some flags out. You can see one right behind her shoulder, but what I did is come right here. I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to just click where I want to be, and then I can adjust wherever on the map I want it to be. So I want it to be kind of near this, and then I hit enter and it selects it. So again, if I want to go right here, I'm going to go really small for this one. Because it is close to her skin, you'll see if I zoom in a little further. So because it's close to her skin, if I have it too close, you see how it kind of feathers out a little too much on her skin. If I'm going to do something where it's on the perimeter, I kind of want to be near the skin. The trick is you don't want these bumps. So if I zoom in a little further, you see how this is really like it's obvious that it's been edited. So I try to stay away from skin when I am using this tool. Luckily for this one, it's not as distinguishable, that little yellow spot. Another way that I could do this is the content aware. And that one actually did a little bit better. Oh, not that. Let me pull it out a little more. So I feel like that was the better option for that one right there. Another way that I could use this is if I need to fix something on someone's face. So this little guy right here, we got, you know, maybe a little dirt spot right here. If I click on that, Content Aware will find something. You know, it does an okay job. Or I can use the brush tool and I can pick specifically where I want it to pull from. So let's look at another picture. So let's pull this little girl up right here and zoom in and kind of see anything around us, if there's anything we need to edit. So say that I want to edit this shoe out because it's just really random. Again, I can hit the Q and I can adjust up and down for the size. I've noticed you kind of want to pick a larger spot than it actually is. So for example, if I click right here and I just brush up and down just a little bit, it may not get all of it. So I like to go just a little bit bigger and select. I can pull from anywhere. So I really like to kind of line up. There's a little bit of a seam right there in the dress, can line that up. Or again, I can try Content Aware and it's all right, not perfect. So just adjusted that, make sure there's nothing else showing. Let's keep going forward. Let's find some other things to clone out. So this one, I had multiple flags. You can see where I've pulled from specific areas. So if I adjust right there over the flag, pick a spot in the grass. If you have your depth of field different, so for example, say that I'm adjusting this one spot and I click here, I don't want to pull from down here because you see how obvious it is that I've selected from a different area. I try to stay on the same plane right there, just like that. Again, I got this other little yellow flag right here, kind of stay similar. I got these yellow flags back here in the background. I can just pull and drag that whole section and then adjust on the same plane right there. Let's pull up a studio session and I'll show you how I use the clone stamp and the brush in that. Hey, I hope you're enjoying today's video. Wanted to pop in really quick and share with you my favorite gallery delivery system. I use Pixieset. I love it. I've been using it since the beginning of my business. I love how streamlined it is, how easy it is to navigate for both me and my clients. It makes the uploading process really simple. I have the ability to password protect my galleries. Every image is protected by a pin to download. There's just so much that Pixieset allows me to do as a photographer to reduce the amount of time that I'm communicating with my clients after their images are delivered. One specific thing that I love is how I can connect my favorite professional printer to each of my galleries. I can customize the price points for digital images, for prints, and I can use that as an opportunity to upsell for my clients, for my sessions and all of those things. And it cuts out the middleman where I'm not having to have gallery delivery appointments for my clients so that, you know, anytime they want to order prints, I can send them directly to their gallery and walk them through that process. And it ships directly to them and I get my commission. So follow this affiliate code if you want to try Pixieset at a discount. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments and I'm happy to help. Let's get back to our video. In my studio, I have a pesky outlet that shows in a lot of pictures. Right there, the pesky outlet. And so I actually use this tool quite a bit in the studio for outlets. Pull right there. So you can kind of see the bottom, how much is showing. So I'm going to just drag it down a little bit more because I don't think I quite got all of the outlet. Just like that. So for the brush tool, I'm going to hit the letter K, kind of like how we did with the masking tool, and I'm just going to brush over a subject or part of part of the picture. Say that I want to soften her cheeks a little bit and reduce the red. So I might pull down my greens. I might pull down my blues just a smidge. And maybe I want to increase my exposure just a bit. So that K is going to be how we access that brush. Say that I want to brush her eyes and I want them to pop a little more. I can brush over her eyes just like that. And maybe we want to go over here to iris enhance. I think that's a little bit too much, so I'm going to pull that exposure back down just a smidge, my saturation down just a smidge, but you can see that's the raw and that's the edit. Whenever I have people facing different angles, so maybe, for example, a little girl is facing the window, but mom is facing against, in order to kind of reduce the difference in exposure, I might brush over her face just a little bit and reduce exposure a tad or highlights a tad, and then do the same thing for mom and do the opposite. So take her face and just pull it ever so slightly. So you can see the difference. Just in brushing that specific area, I can adjust any minor details like exposure, saturation, texture, clarity, you name it. So another instance that I might use a brush tool is if I have an area of my photo that is like overexposed or really bright highlights. For example, this photo right here, if I go to the develop module again, hit K for that brush, I already had masked the background, but if I want to just specifically go over this window and decrease exposure a little bit or dehaze, I can. Again, like I said in the last video, sometimes you got to be careful how much you're doing these things because it can become very obvious very quickly if you're not making fine adjustments and you're just doing really obnoxious adjustments. So maybe I want to brush a specific area. Another time that I use this brush tool is when I have clients that request heirloom portraits. So for example, this portrait right here, I created a mask to begin with and add a vignette to the radial mask filter, and then I use my brush tool with a very kind of a medium flow, just brush around like that. I can increase my exposure. I can reduce my contrast or increase my contrast, change my highlights. And then for these, I like to brush over their face and just increase the clarity a little bit. And, make any little fine-tune adjustments. So when you zoom in, super sharp. So a couple more things that I wanted to talk about. Number one, you notice how whenever I'm doing my mask that that it shows up red. Oh, it didn't that time. So if you toggle the letter O, it's going to show you a couple different things. So let me zoom in. And I'm going to do my mask. So now you see how it's showing up red. If I toggle the letter O off, it's going to show me the actual brush adjustment that I'm toggling on in real time. Some people like to have it on. I personally like to have it on so I can see specifically the areas that I'm hitting. But some people don't like to have that on. And so depending on what you're brushing, like for example, say right here, let's see, I want to take it off. Say that I specifically want to see where I'm brushing on, I might not want to have that red on. but if I hit O, it comes back on. Another really awesome feature is when you go to the brush tool, if you slide over here on this beginning thing to auto mask, Lightroom will automatically kind of detect what you're trying to hit. So say that I just want to hit this little guy's arm, that it's too dark, and I want to kind of adjust some of the heaviness. You see how it automatically stopped at the arm and at the shirt. I think it's amazing. So maybe I want to lighten that a little bit, kind of reduce some of the heaviness on that side of his arm. Lightroom automatically detected that specifically where I wanted to go. Another area that's really helpful is the face. So this little guy doesn't need any face smoothing, but say that he did, and I have auto mask set, and I want to select a softened skin. So I'm just gonna go right here and kind of do his cheeks. It stopped right at his hairline, right there. So if I hit O, go back to my panel. If I hit O, you can see it automatically knew where to stop. It didn't go into his hairline. Another thing that this is helpful for is, like I said, softening skin. I will use, if I hit Q to go back to my healing brush, I can get his little baby acne spots just like that by detecting specific areas. I don't want to redetect over his acne, so and do big spots, little spots. Again, I try to keep it all on the same kind of focal length plane. Go right there. Okay, so say that I've gotten all of his little acne spots. And now I want to do a softened skin. So I've got softened skin light on there already. I hit auto mask. I'm going to bring the size up. And I'm going to apply it. So that was before, after. Lightroom automatically has a few that you can use. You can also create your own. So say, for example, I've got a mom who forgot lipstick and I have masked her lips on specific pictures. I can create my own based off of specific areas in my adjustments. Or maybe I have an area on a picture that's too green and I want to adjust the tone, and I want to have that same tone color profile on every single one of those adjustments. What you can do is, adjust however you want your settings to be, and color that mask on. And then when you go to custom, you can go all the way down to the bottom and save current settings as a new preset. So say that I want to name this mom's dress, or lips. That's one that I already have in use because I use lips one a lot. You can make your own fine-tune adjustments. Say that you really like a specific intensity to softening skin, or to iris enhancing, or whitening teeth, or whatever it might be. Create your own masks and your own brush presets. That way when you go in, you have your own, you already know what you like, how sharp you like things, how bright you like things. I used that a lot back when I shot weddings and I was brushing on for like ring shots and clarity and texture and all of those things. I had created one that was specifically for adding clarity to diamonds. So you can go crazy with adding your own settings and creating your own presets for your brushes. That's how you would do that. And then to access them, when you go here to preset, you could click and just scroll and see your own ones at the bottom. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to be on the lookout for new videos being added to this series every week. Next week, we're going to talk about some more of my favorite tricks and tips and tools that I use for editing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can be on the lookout for these videos being added next week. If you have any suggestions for tools that you would like me to dive deeper into, also leave those below in the comments and I'll make sure to read them and add it to my list. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.